Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome back to the Metal Voice. The voice.
The voice of rock, and these days he's the voice in my head because I can't stop listening to this album. Chosen.
Thank you. I'm really happy with the album.
I mean, if Resonate was a double album, I can easily see this being the second album. It's a perfect companion piece to Resonate.
I think so.
9 years. It's been so long that we had you on with the Dead Daisies, and you've done lots of projects in between. But 9 years between solo albums, it seems like it was just yesterday Resonate was released.
Yeah, I mean, for me, 9 years ago, and I wanted to take a break from solo. I did, of course, a couple of Dead Daisies albums. I've done a couple of Black Country albums, and for me, long playing albums are not what they used to be. I don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with Chosen. But for me, the long playing album is yesterday.
Yeah. It's gonna. We should say this. We didn't mention this. It's going to be released on Frontiers SRL on September the 5th. There's so many great songs on this.
Thank
Glenn,
you.
I don't even know how you do this. I don't know how you keep cranking out great music. It's like
I don't need
it. You're a freak of nature. That's when it comes to music. I don't know what it is.
When you were a child, Glenn, did they test you for hyperactivity? Because you're always busy. You're nonstop.
I do I'm very active in my career. Sometimes I should take more breaks. But right now it's a part of my life is to keep creating music. So that's why I keep making albums.
All right. Tell us about the writing of the songs, the inspiration. Is there like a sort of something you had in your head when you're writing this album?
Well, I live in a spiritual place these days. For the past couple of decades, I've been studying Buddhism and living one day at a time. Really, it's about choosing happiness and choosing to be present. And maybe all those years ago, I wasn't doing that. It's just a point for me where I have to be very calm in a crazy world.
I'm listening to the lyrics, right? Especially for Chosen and Heal. Very reflective, very positive lyrics. But how do you reconcile that with the heavy edge to this album, especially on songs like In the Golden and The Lost Parade?
Yeah, I wanted to have a varied album. It's sometimes difficult to put me in a genre, as you know,
Yeah.
because my roots are R&B, but I've been in a very big rock band of Deep Purple, and I'm still playing with Black Country Communion, which is basically rock music, as you know. But my influences when I was a child was Black American music.
Okay. A song like Voice in My Head. Tell us about the writing of that song.
I had the riff. I wrote the riff at a sound check early last year, and I wanted to put something together for that song. And the voice in my head really means my subconscious mind speaking to me. It's not a friendly place up there.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm just recognizing the voice in my head is what it's telling me is sometimes wrong. So I'm debating about the voice, but I have two voices. I have the childlike inner voice, the self voice, the good voice, and I have the other voice, which is telling me all kinds of rubbish.
So you tend to listen to the childish voice.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Actually, I just want to change gears for 1 second. I wanted to ask you this before. Ozzy Osbourne, a fellow Brit, passed away. I mean, what did Ozzy mean to you? What does his legacy mean to you? I wanted to ask you that right before we started.
Well, the band Black Sabbath have been my friends since 1970. We grew up in the same city, really. So I've known those guys from the very beginning. So when we've lost someone that's very obviously people know who he is, but for me, he was my friend, Yeah. So it's very different when you lose someone close to you. And I feel for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I feel for every single person with the loss of Ozzy, because underneath all the crazy stuff on TV, he genuinely was a really kind, good man. A lot of that stuff was produced on TV and it was all funny and it was great. But underneath it all, he was a very working class, kind man.
Okay. I'm listening to the lyrics and Come and Go on the album. And, a lot of your contemporaries, if it was Ronnie or Gary, now Ozzy, what's the secret for your success? And may I dare say, thriving these days and being a survivor?
I think it's staying present and active. People, when you get to my age, a lot of people stop working, or it's not like I just like what I do musically, and I like to keep creating new music. And I'll keep doing it as long as I can.
Yeah. Well, listening to My Alibi or Black Cat Moan, it's got that super funky 70s guitar sound. And let's talk a little bit about the band. I mean, Soren Anderson, he could play any style of guitar, and he does on this album.
Yeah, he's been with me for 17 years. He's a really good friend of mine, and I love him very much. And I just love working with him. And Ash Sheehan on drums has been in my band for 8 years. It's a trio album. There's only one song with keyboards.
The song "Heal." Tell me a little bit about that. I'm assuming it's a lot of what you're talking about, just healing, right? But tell me about that in your own
It
words.
really is for me. I think we're all healing all through our lives. We're all healing, and if we allow ourselves to heal. And again, it's a course of my life. I've been always healing from something, and I'm a happy person. I have a wonderful personal life, and live a very normal, quiet life actually when I'm off the road. But for me, healing is a very important message to everyone.
I love the song, by the way. I love the
Thank
song.
you. I do too.
It's a great song.
It's a classic vocal line from Glenn Hughes for sure. And looking at In the Golden, I mean, you cannot say all this time I was golden. We tend to focus on what we don't have rather than what we do. Is my takeaway of that album. Is that something that you consciously make an effort to try to avoid on a daily basis?
What I have to do when I wake up in the morning, if my feet hit the floor, I'm saying I'm grateful and I'm thankful. If I can stay grounded as soon as I wake up and just and live in gratitude, and not to have so much going on upstairs here, because in my line of work, it's always something going on. There's plans to make, there's stuff to do, and there's thankfully people to talk to you like yourselves. So for me, I've got to stay grounded. And it really starts as soon as I hit the ground in the morning.
Come and Go, another great song. Actually, I like all the songs, but of course this one sticks out a little bit more than the others. Tell me about that.
I had a few choices for slower songs. I only wanted to put one slow song on the album. I normally put two, but I wanted to have one slow song, a dramatic story song for me about how we come and we go as people. And we should allow the things to come and pass through us. Some people stay for 1 week, some people stay for an eternity, and some people leave. And I always regret the people that go, but they were meant to go, or they're meant to stay, really. So what I don't do anymore is I don't fight and I don't resist anything. If I can just stay here and let the universe have everything pass through me.
Be a receiver, right? And be open to new these experiences.
I allow everything, the good, the bad, the weird, the wonderful, the crazy, the tears of joy, the tears of sadness. It all happens. And I think we live a preordained, predestined experience.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see some similarities between that song and When I Fall from Resonate.
Yeah, those two are connected. Again, all the work I've been doing in sobriety in the last 30 years has been about the human condition, acceptance, faith, letting go, and walking through the fear. I know it sounds like topics I've done before, but I always sort of come up with a new way of saying to people, we can get through this. We're actually all okay, really.
Yeah, I
And that
love your
was one of my
I love your
questions. And
attitude.
one of the things I noticed, Glenn, was, you got such a vast repertory of songs. Is there any themes or motives you like to go back and say, I didn't quite fulfill that one. I want to revisit it and maybe I can expand upon it? Because I got that feel from many of these songs on this album.
For me, when I'm writing the music or the lyrics, it's all about presence. It's how I'm feeling, really. Is it better sideways?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it
you're
is.
fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah.
So it's just about, I mean, I'm writing what I'm feeling, so it's whatever fits the mood. I start writing in the morning, and I always come up with the music first. And when I'm writing the music, I come up with a melody, and in the melody there will be one word. It may not be the title, but the one word that comes to me, which will tell me where the song is going to be heading lyrically.
Glenn, I was talking with Chris Holmes, a former guitarist of Wasp. He had so many nice things to say about you.
Oh, he's a lovely man. I've known
Well,
Chris from the very beginning. I just think he's a wonderful guy.
he first of all he wants to say hi, and I
Of
go,
course.
Chris, you toured with him in the Black Sabbath years. We know those
Oh,
stories,
wow.
right back in when you tour with Sabbath, and I go, and we were talking about that era, and I'm just keeping away from the controversy part, but I found one thing that he said that I found it so interesting. He goes, when Glenn was on stage without his bass, it's
Mhm.
like he didn't feel like he was at home, and was
No.
that sort of touch upon that?
Look, back then, if you can remember now, I did the album for Tony. It was supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album, and I
Right.
was, Tony's one of my best friends ever, and he asked me to come in and sing. Didn't think we were going to do any touring, and I didn't play bass, maybe on one song. And I found myself now in Black Sabbath because the manager wanted to call it Black Sabbath, and now I'm fronting the band, having to play and sing OZZY songs, God rest in peace, and my friend Ronnie. And it was the first time without the bass guitar. If you see me in the last 30 years, I can do either bass or singing either easier. But back then, it wasn't the right thing for me to do. I just was doing something that I was asked to do.
How connected are you into singing and playing the bass? How much does it play a role in the way you sing, using the bass at the same time?
Well, for me, it's the bass. See, it's the the bass is an extension of me. And when you see me play bass, it's a natural extension of my arms and fingers. And it just feels normal. And I feel very comfortable singing and playing bass.
I just find that
Speaking of
fascinating.
speaking of bass lines, I mean, I'm listening to My Alibi. Talk about a heavy, groovy bass line. There's definitely one on that song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very groovy Glenn track. There's a lot of groove on this album. There's more dramatic music on this album, like on Resonate, very dramatic. People are saying to me, how come you didn't go so much more on grooves throughout the album? Well, it's just this is another version of Glenn. I think
Yeah.
every album I think every album I do is another version of. I don't repeat myself.
And I mean, you listen to the Lost Parade, that dark, eerie riff. That's almost like an Iommi riff.
Mm. Yeah, I came up with that riff very early on, and I was thinking this would have been great with Tony. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't meant to be Sabbath orientated, but when I listen to it now, I'm going, oh wow, that could have fit on the album we did called Fused. It would have been great.
Yeah, a great album, yeah. And then Into the Fade. I mean, there's reminiscent of BCC's One Last Soul. I mean,
Mm.
that could have been the lead off single. How do you choose your opening tracks?
Oh, it comes natural for me. I knew when I started writing the song Chosen that it would be the first single. And from that point, I knew where I was going musically. Like on the track, the album I did in Resonate, when I wrote Heavy, I'm realizing where the album was going. So for me, when I wrote Chosen, I knew pretty much where I was going and what kind of genre it would be.
I guess all your experiences from Rainbow to Sabbath to all the projects, because you've done all the years.
You mean Purple?
Purple. Sorry, Purple.
It's okay.
All the projects you've done over the years is into this album, I would think. I mean, there's a little bit of everything I find, of everything you've done, and the voice.
And I appreciate that comment because, with me, it's, as you know, with me, I'm very varied in my approach. I'm not a metal performer. I'm a rock performer who is influenced by R&B and Black American music, and that's the way I am.
And last time we spoke, I brought up the themes of water always being part of your songs and your life, and I'm nice to see that the album cover for Chosen has that continuity to it.
We are water. 75% of our bodies are water.
Yes.
I live by the Pacific Ocean here, and for me, I like to be close to water as I can. And my life exists around water. I believe that, we are, if we can all think we are water based, it's very important. So we can flow more easily.
What else would you like to do in your career before you sort of call it quits? Are there any challenges or, remaining? I mean, I don't know what's left, but I mean, is there anything you'd like to do before you hang it up?
Well, early this year, I did a few shows with orchestras in Europe, and I found myself falling in love with orchestras. And what I plan on doing at the end of next year is revisit orchestra shows, primarily in Europe to start with, but hopefully I can come to the States and do some. I think my voice suits an orchestra, and I'm looking forward to doing more orchestra shows.
Yeah, Canada too. I think he's leaving out Canada there.
Well, I mean North America,
Well, no, I mean I don't know. I don't even remember the last time he played in Canada. We're in Canada, by the way.
I played one show in 2019, and I can't believe he's. And I say to my agent, what am I doing? I got to get up there,
We're in Montreal, and I think you'd love it here.
I would love to come to Montreal. Are you kidding me?
I know that you also have some dates. We should mention that as well. You're going to be playing the Netherlands, Germany, Norway, in other words, Europe, and then you're going to play the UK, Brazil, Argentina. You're going to South America.
Yeah.
It's a nice long list. What's the set list going to look like?
It's going to be primarily a lot of Glenn Hughes material from my solo albums, of course, and there's going to be tracks from Trapeze, which is my favorite band I've ever been in. And there's going to be a few selections from a band called Hughes Thrall, which I love, and some selections from Black Country Communion, and a couple of things I did with Tony Iommi.
Oh, good. I love those albums.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, just that we spoke about Soren, the guitarist, and you've played with so many. We can't even name them all. What are you looking for in a guitarist on your albums?
They have to understand where I am musically in every genre. I mean, I'm a rock artist. We all know that. But there's there's a flip switch to me that is R&B-ish. And so I'm a soul fanatic, and I like those grooves. So I have to find somebody that understands that.
Yeah, I think it shows through on songs like Black Cat Moan. I think that song describes exactly what you just described.
Thank you. I agree.
The song Burn, is it one of the greatest rock songs ever to be written and sung? I mean, when you look back at it, the legacy of it, it's probably one of the greatest songs ever, or at least in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, that song was written at around 11 o'clock at night in a castle. We had one more song to write for Burn. We didn't have the opening track, and we went in, kind of had a few drinks, and we went down to the dungeon in the castle and plugged in our amplifiers, and we just wrote Burn. It was a quick song to write. It's a majestic. It's one of the most dramatic rock songs ever written, I believe.
I agree.
Well, we're almost out of time, Glenn. I just want to say congratulations on the album. I can't stop listening. Just like Resonate, I'm still listening to Resonate.
Thank you, guys. I really
all the best.
it.
Good health. And good success on the tour.
Thank you. And look, I'm hoping to see you in Montreal. Please wait for me and save me a seat.
We'll do. We'll do. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my
Have
friends.
a good day.